All right, and welcome back to the finals of this 2v2 tournament of Beta 3. We've eliminated 6 teams, and we are down to simply 2. The Banter Boys with Nugify and Knight versus the Behemoth Abusers of Shade and Armeria. I'm here with Ektar for our 4th hour of casting. Ektar, what are we looking to see in this set?
Personally, I'm looking to see Shades. We saw them perform beautifully from the Banter Boys in one match in particular, and we have not seen them for nor since. And they're very cool. They're your favorite unit. We've seen plenty of my favorite unit. They've kind of been the centralizing unit of this entire tournament. And I'm looking for just a little bit of diversity, which is not something we tend to see in the Team Gouda matches, as they have approximately 1.25 builds.
That's roughly correct. I agree. I'd love to see I want to see 5 games. Let's be real. To the dismay of some of the players and fans, I do want to see 5 games. I want to see these teams do an excellent job. Let's see how we got here. Real quick, we'll go to the bracket overview. Banter Boys at the top of the bracket, our number 1 seed, beat the Bengal Aces in round number 1 3-0, and beat Team Gouda in the semifinals 3-0, undefeated in maps so far, reaching the finals here. On the bottom side of the bracket, the Behemoth Abusers defeated URXP in a thrilling round 1 match. Please go watch that one. Definitely the best round 1. And went an incredible series against Aftermath in the semifinals to make it here. Aftermath won their 3rd place match against Team Gouda, and now we are here to go determine a champion. I know. OBS is kind of freezing up on me for just a moment, so we're going to... Yeah, OBS has a fade out, fade in. Let me very quickly, I'm going to add the existing pictures of the statues of what they're playing for in first place. So this little dude is our first place prize. It is a statue. Each player will get one of them. This is one of them. There's the back of it. And there's the other one with the little angry face on it. So...
God, it's cute.
It's so good. This, provided by Battle Aces. Thank you very much to the Battle Aces team and Uncapped Games for making this afforded as a prize to the winner of this series. Second place will have a t-shirt, and each player of the team will do it to commemorate this. So again, really appreciate that from Battle Aces.
Additionally, the winning team gets approximately $100 of the prize pool. They are not just playing for statue. There are some medium-sized stacks on the table for the winning team. The losing team of this match gets a slightly smaller cash prize contributed through the Matcherino, !Matcherino, if you want to support the team. Everything that you donate to them goes directly to the players, as we're going to get into the first game of our grand finals.
In the bottom left, in the blue and green spring colors, they are the Banter Boys with Nugify and Knight.
On the right-hand side, in the fall colors, Shade and Armeria, making up the Behemoth Abusers with, once again, 0 Behemoths in their deck, hoping that Knight produces some Behemoths for them to abuse.
Yep, that is exactly what they're looking for. I am getting word that there has been contribution, maybe not, I can't tell. Maybe my update's out of date. Let me check.
We do have the double Guardian Shield coming out from Shade and Armeria. Strategy we haven't seen in a couple of rounds, as we have Knight taking an expansion and everybody else going into their tier 1 tech.
All right, that is definitely who is the aggressor question is definitely real.
I think that this position favors Aftermath right now. Sorry, Banter Boys. Aftermath is no longer in the game. The Banter Boys, as Mortar is quite good against everything that Shade and Armeria have, And Heavy Hunter and Flak Turret does not help against the mortars. So if a push comes out from Nugify and Knight, I think they can find themselves in a very good position.
So far, slow positional play going here. Nugify going for Mortar, Knight going for Destroyers. This is the very common Mortar-Destroyer combo you see in 1v1s, using that as a bridge to work into Double Sniper, Advanced Blink Behemoth. Actually, Nugify going to pivot towards the Starforge tech, Flak Turret, Shade, and Predator.
This is maybe the first time we've seen Tier 1 into other Tier 2 into other Tier 2. We've seen the Tier 2, Tier 3 back to Tier 1 play, but this is, I think, the first time we've seen someone go down to Flak Turret, having already gone into Foundry. We got a little bit of a push out here. A lot of Scorpions and Knights here. I think Knights trade reasonably into what's going on here, especially with the Guardian Shield taking a couple of hits from the spring side.
Mortars are out for Nugify. Just a couple, though. We've seen this non-committal push every time. Just picking a couple, using that as a bridge to put the other team on the back foot.
Both teams going into fourth bases as well on both of their players.
Yeah, this is going to be a high econ game if they play relatively passively here. Shades and Advanced Destroyers. There's actually Shades on both sides, so the teams have heeded your call. 5 Shades coming out now for Armeria.
Yeah, no response yet from Nugify in the tech department. Finally going into the second tier of Starforge. We have a couple of Hornets out. As we said before, Hornets don't do amazingly against Shades because of the splash damage. There's only a couple of the Hornets out, so getting some very nice volleys out as there's a big push onto the fourth now.
Yeah, those Knights are going to be very effective as the Shades hold this position between the third and fourth base. Hornets are actually going to
take out most of the Hornets.
Oh my god, the Snipers do, and all of a sudden, Shade and Armeria are running free right now. Huge bandwidth advantage for their team. Fourth base is taken out now in this Assault Bot Knight sniper push with Shade support is looking incredible.
I know I said that snipers were the defining unit of this 2v2. It might actually be Assault Bot. They've come in clutch on the back half of this tournament in a very big way.
Yeah, it is so cool watching this develop, and feels real neat. Shade all the way pushing through the natural now towards the main. There is no stopping this push. Individually, they have as much supply, or bandwidth rather, same thing, as their opponents. And all of a sudden, the naturals are taken out. GG is in. And game 1 goes to Behemoth Abusers.
Yeah, we really saw, honestly, the power of the Knight in that game. There was very few answers, as Nugify went into the snipers, and snipers don't do well into the. Knight went into the snipers, but they don't hardly touch Knights. Knights are a big pile of hit points that take half damage from snipers. They were able to just walk up and take a base because the Flak Turret does nothing against large ground units. Like, it was just a really good, I'd almost want to say deck check coming out from the Behemoth Abusers.
All right, pulling the teams into the next lobby. Ektar, as far as units that we like, dang, that is a, steal my deck kind of build from Shade and Armeria there. If you see us on ladder, we will probably be running those exact decks because that was so stinking cool.
Yeah. Like, if I've learned a number of things from this tournament. One of the things I've learned is just the power of Tier 3 matter only. Like, almost every team in the semifinals were running it at least in one of their players.
You're entirely correct there, that having an upgrade to your biggest dump is really good as far as, just being able to improve the power of your army as the game goes on. And when you have 6 slots to do it with, instead of 3, you're not giving up nearly as much for it.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about the 2v2 format. Like, I've said it before, but just the fact that you have more options between the two people. You're pretty much never just going to go, like, the same deck but twice. Because then you can just get hard countered so much easier. And with that additional flexibility, you have answers to more problems.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. More problems, but more answers. It's really a cool dynamic mode that I think is going to take exponentially longer to settle into a meta than 1v1 comparatively, both due to population reasons and due to complexity reasons.
Complexity, yeah. Only 1/3 base coming out this time for Knight. Just going to hit their tech right now, one would assume. There it is. And just at that same time, 3 more expansions getting dropped. So, early economic lead for Knight, early tech advantage for everybody else.
Yep, Nugify seems to be opting to go into the shades a little bit quicker. This game isn't going to do that kind of mid-game mortar push that we've seen be so effective in the last game. A little bit of push on the Knights to try and whittle down some of the matter units here. And just a decommitment with the Blinks, which is what Blinks do.
It sure is. We have not seen very many Wasps in this. A much bigger focus on the Scorpions as they are tankier, better fighting unit.
Scaling fit better into a late game comp. Although I would like to see Wasp into Assault Bot, just being able to transition out of your matter units. I think
another set of quick swords coming in for the Banter Boys.
Pair of fourths, yeah, as you mentioned. Only one here, and it's later. So Armeria going to try and make a some kind of push. Nope, gonna go ahead and grab it.
At the moment, though, Banter Boys are really trading pretty nicely versus the Behemoth Abusers. These Blinks are doing very well, trading out more favorably versus the Scorpions, and I think the Knights, they're not... Because they're standing behind their opponents, they're sort of losing out on their value, which is largely in their tankiness, not in their damage output.
Shades are in now, but not a committal amount of shades, just 3. Enough to one-shot, or one-burst workers.
Shades from both sides.
5 shades out here. Not seeing a lot of harass with it. Here we go. Harassment coming through. Heavy
Flak
hunters
turret,
are aware, and there's a flak turret out to protect. I think this is the biggest downside to the Shade, is just their vulnerability to the common flak turret. He's going to get a lot of damage out here, though. He's going to take out most of that worker line at the third at the cost of 3 shades, whereas Armeria is still keeping those shades alive.
Armeria going back down into the bomber tech. Maybe wanting to solve the problem from the... Actually, I don't know what problem the bombers are meant to solve. Maybe
Lots
they're
of
just going to
units.
use it as a harassment tool.
Assault bots take out the 4th base here at the top. They're going to get pincered in here, and this is going to become a big skirmish. Overdrive activated now to increase the combat effectiveness even further with additional attacks and move speed. And look at these assault bots just tear through. Even the Shade only getting a couple kills per. That's a big hit, is actually going to be enough to help clean it up. But that was a mainly matter-only trade out for the Behemoth Abusers.
Yeah, the snipers, on the other hand, were able to come in and really turn the tide on that fight. It looked like Banter Bros were just going to get clean swept. Like, just, casually 10 or 12 snipers really turned the tide of that fight.
Heavy Hunters now out for the Banter, or rather for the Behemoth Abusers to take out the Shades in response. No harassment going on right now. Big swell of Scorps coming in from Armeria as they are teching over to Advanced Foundries. They're going to pick up all 6 of the units in this game, going to have the Assault Bot and the Gargantua, which has been kind of a mainstay in 1v. Well, we've seen a lot of Gargantua play overall, but we haven't seen it in this tournament.
Actually, almost no anti-air on the side of the Banter Bros, so I'd like to kind of see just like another 4 shade commitment to splash all these weak ground units. Nugify has a little Cadra in his collection as well, but there's Heavy Hunters here to push them back. Yeah, I think just a couple of shades coming out from Armeria could really just get a ton of value before there is an adequate response.
Yeah, I mean, just dropping like 4 shades and shift-clicking behind the main base would be absurdly effective. Now, can they afford that? We're not sure. That's for the players to decide. I mean, afford as in be able to hold off counter pushes and things like that.
Opportunity cost afford, not matter energy afford.
Correct.
They've decided that 6 Gargantua is the play here. They will take a ton of damage from... they will take a lot of punishment from snipers because they don't take a lot of damage from them, nor do they take much from the Shades. Really just kind of being very tanky, like the Behemoths, I don't know, like designer Behemoths in a sense.
And the Shades flying over. Look at him hit the snipers in back. Didn't find the connections necessary, though. Gargantuas are running at the snipers, and this is looking really tough once again for the Banter Boys. They're going down 0-2 in the finals right here, Ektar. This is crazy.
I thought that they were in such a good spot, but I was calling for Shades, and Shade decided otherwise, calling for the Gargantuas out of their teammate, and that was definitely the correct call, as they kind of just got to move across the map with those tanky units that have that good anti-air to take out the opposing Shades.
Yeah, that's just what a spot right now. I don't have a lot of comments on that really overall. Like,
it's just good strategery.
They're just playing well. They went Starforge reversed back, or Armeria went Starforge and reversed back to the Foundry to make that push happen. We're not seeing a lot of that tech transition, but their defense is extremely solid, and there we go. We're so in here. This is for real. As long as we say 4 expansions, we're in. This is officially game number 3 between the Banter Boys and Behemoth Abusers in the finals. Thank you for sticking around through the little bit of an interruption. This is still a beta. Support the beta, and we'll get that kind of stuff fixed.
Yeah, we had one issue early, like literally the very first game. Haven't had an issue until now, so on the whole, not too bad.
Yep. A little bit of a momentum killer, though, I will say. We'll see. Let's see if there are any changes, if we even remember what's going on. We do have Locust,
Double
not
Guardian
Shade.
Shield again.
Interesting. Locust, not Shades as well for Nugify. So changes have been made, and there are no Predators out for anti... In fact, Blasters are the only anti-air splash that exists, which, albeit, are still good units.
Are very good units. Big Swell Scorpions coming out here. Gonna be a bit before anyone else is able to take a third. We did have Knight going into the quick expand and delayed tech. That does seem to be their preferred strategy.
Third base is coming out for both sides immediately, or rather after their tech, as you mentioned. Knight going for the faster third, try and get a small economic edge. And really the same.
No tech for Nugify though, because they're double tier 3 Starforge in the Starforge. They've only got the flak turret as far as additional tech goes, so I'm really expecting to see just an immediate tier 3 Starforge, and we see that from Armeria as well.
Yep. Lots of tier 3 play here in 2v2. I've seen a lot of low tier play in 1v1s. Ooh, Knight's getting a little bit caught out. Shade not quite paying full attention there. Is going to micro forward, might still be having issues. Nonetheless, a little bit of an uncharacteristic misstep.
Going into a 4th base, however, so they're going to have a large economic boom once that starts kicking online in about 20 seconds or so. Still no units being produced out of either the Foundry or the Starforge, I think from either team right now. So really just going full econ into tech right now. Which tech will finish up much quicker for the side of the Behemoth Abusers because they didn't go for that 4th base. Look to see them pumping out a bunch of Shades. That looks like 7 Shades. That'll devastate most things that are in the map right now. Only one Hornet right now and some Blackbirds. There's a Predator.
Predator's dealing a lot of damage. I'm slightly concerned about this game. Shade has still not built anything and might still be having connection issues, which I don't know what the reconnect system in this game looks like, but
they just produced.
There's everything. All right.
They were just saving up for their tier 3.
That was a long save, but sure enough, it is out. This is a gigantic push now.
Yeah, this is... I don't have proper language for how many assault bots that is, because all of them involve 4-letter words.
Yeah.
Another 4th base coming out from Nuggify and Knight, but they're a little bit on the back foot with this huge swell of assault bots and snipers clicking in good damage as well. Knight standing in front, doing what they can so that the value units stay alive for longer. The snipers a little bit getting left behind, but they're going to dive on and take out 3 of them, it looks like. And the economic advantage for Nuggify and Knight is starting to bear fruit.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're currently able to push right on through. A lot of those assault bots were not participating as effectively as they could have. Definitely a little awkward of a spot to be in. I'm going to lean towards little tech issues, but we'll see, or connection issues. We'll see. That was a strange time not to engage when we've seen such crisp play from all of these teams so far.
We see Armeria has already gone into double tier 2 availability now. Looking like they might want to go into the blasters for splash damage versus their opponent's very clumped, very not big composition. Snipers are doing what they can on the defense here. They do outrange the mortars. That shade is going to get blasted out of the sky as there's approximately 4 predators being ready to maul out anything in the air. Assault bots versus snipers. Good snipers in small numbers, but assault bots are rarely in small numbers. Snipers now on both sides, a huge number of them actually tonight. There we have the Behemoth Blaster transition coming out of Armeria. They defend one of their thirds, but they've been behind fourths this whole time.
Yeah, Nuggify and Knight with a superior economic advantage, but can they handle this counter push? The Behemoths are tanking very well against the sniper shot, and the blasters are going to get in there and do their blast and work. Not quite as effective as I would have thought. Oh, there they go. Absolutely eviscerating everything on the ground there.
That literally one Behemoth was a humongous difference maker, because snipers will do ruinous damage versus blasters if they are able to get on top of the snipers. So the snipers, if they're able to stay out of range of the blasters. That one Behemoth gave the room for the blasters to walk forward and ruin the snipers instead.
Once again, the engagement coming in now from Nuggify and Knight goes for the cleanup, blinks forward with the advanced blinks. Don't do the bonus damage to the blasters when the blasters don't do much damage to them.
Yeah, the advanced blinks are big, so they take less damage from those blasters.
Once again, looks like Shade's able to fire off a big round of production here. Might be a little late to try and save these thirds, though, as the economic position might get more and more dire. Here come the assault bots in, backed up by another 10 or so snipers. All of this protecting blasters and now advanced destroyers as the tech switch for Armeria have the ability to just constantly switch back and forth with all of the tech capable to them. But they are behind by 20% or so in economy for multiple minutes now.
Yeah, with only the advanced blinks here for anti-big technology on the side of the Banter Boys, I don't know that they're going to be able to stave off this constant Behemoth push, but it looks like their macro advantage is finally starting to win them out in the long run.
Yeah, 200 combined bandwidth versus 50 for Shade and Armeria is going to likely signal the end of this game and what could be the start of a little bit of combat. Oh my god, Shade's coming out, massive damage incoming, huge efficiency here, going to rip through all of the snipers. Anti-air's coming, no, anti-air isn't even coming in. Good splits from Knight trying to deal with this, but there's a ton of damage.
One predator that is going to start doing work, however. Actually, only takes out 2 so far. They're able to back up. We've got a couple more predators coming in, as well as mortars for their own anti-small damage, also known as splash damage. Doesn't trade particularly well into the Behemoths, though. Like, they're just so tanky.
Yeah, the flexibility of Armeria and Shade here really is keeping them alive, down so much income, and now, Shade's, I was going to say swinging towards main, swinging towards this fight now. I'm going to blow up the Assault Bots extremely quickly, try and find some openings using these air units away from the Predators. Predators find them and do tons of damage, but Shades have traded efficiently, and all of a sudden, look at this. The combined bandwidth is now really low for Nugify and Knight. They've been pushed back, even with this advantage. And now, with 1 minute remaining, it's still really close. 3 mining bases to 2, and that is a full, like, mathematical advantage, 1.5 times as much. As we approach sudden death, what's the timer? 52 to 48, Ektar.
Yeah, it's really close, but the blasters have been worth their weight in gold here. We get a little bit of a run-by with now a single Shade, as it did fall, I believe, maybe to a Predator. Still doing kind of a lot of damage to the back. Assault Bots trading versus Assault Bots, but the extra sniper count on the side of Shade and Armeria is starting to get some good value. But they've been behind in Econ so long, I don't know if they can actually win this protracted trade, as we're down to 30 seconds.
No, and it's still 53-54 now for Nugify and Knight. They're taking this and really pushing their advantage. 56% up on this meter. Their economic advantage has barely worked out for them. They are going to survive game number 3, bring us to a game number 4 here.
I'm so glad it wasn't a 3-0 sweep. Not only because we get more games, but because with all the delays and tech issues, having a multi-minute delay and then just immediately ending the series would have been so not quite anticlimactic, but like it would have lowered the climax by so much just because
yeah,
it would just ended.
Yeah, you really have to get back into it, get the narrative going and all that stuff. Nugify and Knight looking to do a little bit of deck changing with the response to the blaster changes and everything like that. So we'll see them cook something up, and
the Behemoth abusers abused the Behemoth.
They did. Whoa, here we go.
For the first time this tournament, the Behemoth abusers abused the Behemoth. And it was genuinely game determinative.
It was. It just wasn't enough. So if having one extra base was worth 20% more pre-workers exploding, they were getting like 18% more efficiency, just barely enough not to get it, as we jump into game number 4 here.
Yeah, we do still have Behemoths available, so love to see it. The double expand that we've seen almost every game.
Ready.
Yep, pretty standard overall. Let's check the deck for any changes here. We've got Knight Scorp still. We've got Cat Buses out for Armeria in the Flex, or the Advanced Starforge / Flex Starforge slot.
I don't think we had Advanced Bots in the previous game either.
No, we had double Assault Bots, I believe.
No, there's also no blasters anymore for
that's what the
Behemoth users.
Over on the side of Nugify and Knight, we've got Mammoths out. I'm not sure if that was in the deck prior, but we didn't see them in the previous game. Still have Shade Predator, and it looks like mostly the same thing overall.
Same general build coming out, going 3 players on tech and Knight going for the quick third. So, small adjustments in decks, but similar game playing out as far as the play strategy as opposed to the deck building strategy.
Heavy Hunters as part of the Foundry line, and Flak Turrets as part of the Starforge line coming out. Nugify opting to go into the Flak Turret as well. Note the anti-air icons. Predators do not do well into Cat Buses. Flak Turrets do, but they're defensive-only tools, so it leaves you vulnerable to mass expanding. So, unsure if what the response will be for the Banter boys is to the Advanced Starforge tech of Armeria.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for the Banter boys. because they don't have an answer to cat buses. They haven't built one. Like, Predators don't actually do that well because their splash and cat bus is big. The flak turret does well, but it's a static defense unit, so that allows their opponents potentially to expand a lot, or to just take really efficient trades in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I entirely agree with all of your assessments there, Ektar. I have played the Predator versus Catbus matchup, and it is winnable. The Predator does have more range, but it takes an eternity to gain big value out of it. Like, you really have to have a lot of space to start kiting, and just constantly be getting the shots at the edge of your range. It's really a tough matchup that isn't winning in any sense of it. It is, the cat buses, I would say, definitely have the soft counter advantage. Now, 3 Shades are out, and 3 cat buses are out. Shades could, like, show for this map. I'm gonna try and
cat buses definitely already showed.
Yeah, and then, well, I'm saying you could show the Shades and then send them out for harassment.
We have 2 Shades that are about to hit into the natural of Shade and Armiria. That's a flak turret that is going to hold the defense, though. Losing only 1 set of workers is not a bad trade, as the Cat Bus and Shade are reigning supreme on Scorpions.
The Scorps have no answer, and look, the Assault Bot Swarm is coming through. Transition to those units is very good. They're going to target down the flak turrets and allow these Cat Buses and Shade to run strong through this push. Supply dropping rapidly for Nugify and Knight. This is a huge push that I think might just win the game for Behemoth abusers.
Yeah, the preemptive addition of a couple of Heavy Hunters meant that the Shades weren't actually able to contribute all that well. Hornets do not beat Cat Bus for cost. And down by a 2 full set of expansions and a ton of bandwidth. We got the GG sprays coming out. Shade and Armiria feeling themselves, and they are going to be the winners of 7thAce's 2v2 tournament.
Wow, congratulations to Shade and Armiria. That is... really, that's the result. That's it. That was really quite excellent gameplay on all fronts. Congratulations again to Nugify and Knight, 2nd place, Battle Aces t-shirt. Congratulations to them, along with a $69 share of the prize pool, as far as if that hasn't been updated. It hasn't, so congrats to them. I'll figure out how to do that here through Matcherino by tomorrow. It's late. Shade and Armiria taking twice that at 138, and going to get, again, the ridiculous, awesome Battle Aces statues of the Bombers, which is super cool.
Yeah, thanks again to Battle Aces for their support in finding many of these fantastic players, as well as providing the physical swag to provide to our top performing teams.
All right, so let me quickly expedite this process. Grab the final bracket screenshot for y'all to set color. Whoa! Find a gold color. That looks golden to me. Boom. Transition it over. There is your final bracket. Behemoth Abusers grabbing 1st place. Banter Boys grabbing 2nd, Aftermath in 3rd, Team Gouda in 4th. That was a lot of fun. That was really a lot of fun. Thank you very much to Shiva for the kudos. Really appreciate it. And yeah, that's all we've got for this evening. It has been 5 hours. We are tired. So again, thank you everybody. Again, Eclapricious for the graphics, Ektar for commentating, and a solid contribution to the prize pool. Really appreciate it. And all of the teams, players, and viewers for coming out and watching. We really appreciate. I'll make sure. We really appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you once again to JXP123 for starting their 2v2 journey. Thank you for everyone who donated. We really appreciate it. giving everything we can out to these fantastic players.
All right, until we might do some ladder streaming at some point, but until next beta, that has been it for 2v2 for us. Thanks for watching, and we're going to head on out.
Yeah, we're going to send a raid over to Sweet Shot Games. They were one of the 2 players that filled in as our last-minute team for one that had to bail due to personal reasons. So really appreciate them for filling in. They showed some great games, considering they had less than 2 hours of 2v2 practice. So we're going to send the love on over to them.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.